Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to London, England, where we are live in the SSE Arena at Wembley for Game 2 of the European Challenger Series. It is currently 1-0 to H2K Gaming. A great start for them, for sure. 42 kills overall in that game, and we've got to talk about Trashy, man. Fantastic pick. We talked about it. We were thinking, should they have gone for Elise? Clearly, he had another card in his pack.
I absolutely love Trashy on Jarvan. He performed exquisitely against Lublin Shaw. He dominated this previous game against Ninjas in Pajamas, and I feel it is a ban-worthy champion against this man because I haven't seen him have the same level of impact on the likes of Lee Sin or the likes of Elise. So we need to see if NIP agree because we're about to jump into game 2.
Yeah, Picks and Bans going to be getting underway in just a few moments. What do we think then, Picks and Bans? LeBlanc, big deal. 12 kills in the end there, 12 to 11 or something like that, even more kills, I think.
The thing is, the reason Febiven could do what he was doing was because of the support of Odoamne and Trashy. Because they roamed around with him, got those ganks in the middle lane, it allowed him to get a hit. And then because he was ahead, he could just pop people. I don't know if he would have had that same level of impact had he not had the ganks from Jarvan. So we really need to just see how that plays out.
Be gone.
But I also think Jax is another concern. I think Jax has to be banned away. Odoamne had a great game. It was very clear NIP didn't have a strategy to deal with him, and we need to see how they deal with themselves right now.
Yeah, we're going to see. It's going to be getting underway in just a moment. The teams are pretty much ready to go, so I'm wondering if it's going to be the mid lane focus. Of course, Exile on Yasuo didn't really seem to crack on. He got a good quad kill in there, but wasn't enough.
Yeah, I also want to highlight the fact that Thresh was played by AOD, Morgana was banned away for him, and while his Thresh was good, it wasn't needed to be a playmaking champion because the rest of his team did that well. So we'll see how this Picks and Bans plays out.
So Picks and Bans underway. Lee Sin being the first target ban this time around. H2K once again taking that away from Ko. Kassadin also banned out by the red side once again. This time around, of course, it's NIP. Looks like the next one will be Evelyn. So again, H2K focusing on those junglers. They know that Jarvan is a strong jungler for them. They're forcing Ko onto Elise. Yeah,
it looks to be the case. They could also pull a 180 and first pick Elise if they wanted to go that route. Twitch is still available. Jax is still available. As you've already mentioned, the likes of LeBlanc is still up. So there's a lot of champions that both of these teams could work towards. And it actually looks like H2K are going to be playing a different top laner for this matchup. With Jax being banned away, it means Mozilla needs to look at or think about the likes of Trundle, Shyvana, Renekton, etc.
Well, final ban will be for NIP. Let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be coming in a second. It is Kale once again. So NIP sticking with the same 3 bans as game 1, and H2K the only ones to switch things up.
Lulu is up. So in the previous game, because NIP were blue side, they didn't have to ban Kassadin. They banned Lulu instead. And with Lulu being available, it may be a consideration for the Ninjas in Pajamas.
Thresh first pick. That does surprise me. Clearly, that's a bit of a worry for AOD maybe in there. Of course, that does leave a number of options open. The Rat being one of them. And again, Yasuo locked in. So NIP sticking with their guns from game 1.
So if I were in H2K's position, I would consider locking in a Shyvana. Shyvana can do very well in the top lane against a multitude of champions and can also take it away from Mozilla, who may want to get the knock-up combo. The only risk of that route is then seeing a Lulu being locked in by NIP, and then it's very difficult as a Shyvana to deal with Lulu in that top lane. It can be very frustrating. So there is a lot of champions, but for the time being, NIP seem committed to trying that sort of pick assassination type combo of Twitch and Yasuo.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Zed, who's just hovered over a number of options coming out. Are we going to see that Jarvan? Are we going to see the Elise for Trashy? Will they lock in maybe the AD carries, of course? Number of options open. Don't think it's going to be Malzahar.
Playing with the crowd. H2K are 1-0 up. They can have some fun with this one. With a few seconds left on the clock, the Lulu is not surprising me. It is a champion that was banned away from them in the previous game, and I'm expecting this to go in Febiven's hands, but it can go to Odoamne in the top lane if they want to.
So, Lucian also picked in, locked in once again. That Lucian Thresh combo worked very well for Kianan and AOD in the previous matchup. Kianan, of course, picking up a number of kills. Are we going to see Braum once again for Voidal? Wasn't overly impressed by it, honestly.
He needs to hit more ultimates.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the previous game, the very first, the first few Glacial Fishes that he put down.
Not just the ultimates, the stuns. I think I remember seeing 1 stun, potentially, throughout the whole game.
It really didn't work out that well, but unfortunately they were playing from behind for an incredibly long period of time.
I'm loving the crowd right now. They've got their phones out, I think it is. I'm not too sure. The glow sticks are either out there anyway. Shyvana looks like it may well get picked up once again. There are the crowd. It is a packed house here in the Wembley Arena in London, England. It's great to have this event here. And you know what, NIP, they are not adjusting their flow. They feel what they had in previous game worked out for them. Of course, I'm not convinced.
Nor am I. Now, they ran Elise in the jungle previously. It is still available if they want to go that route. And the knockups from Shyvana and from Braum were not enough to get Exile going in the previous game. So for them to recommit to the same strategy, I think they may realize that it was individual mechanical mistakes that ended up costing them that previous game. So if they fix them, maybe it can work. But at this point in time, they really need to do something drastically different.
Well, you can see H2K playing with the crowd. Don't think we're going to see Shaco in the jungle.
Nor do I.
It would be nice, but...
But Trashy does play a whole bunch of champions. I'm expecting Jarvan. I mean, it worked so well previously.
Yep.
Why not stick with it?
Exact same combo, just the different laner in the top there. So it will be Lulu top lane. That means LeBlanc being locked in. It's going to be Febivim once again up against Exile on Yasuo.
So we're not seeing a drastic difference, okay? H2K have committed to a similar playstyle to the previous game, where they've got this very tanky front line, you know, where they're going to have Lulu, they're going to have Jarvan, and they've got multiple knockups. The only thing is, I do feel there's less damage from H2K now. Jax will offer more damage in the mid to late game than Lulu will, but Lulu's going to offer more utility. So assuming Trash and Febivim get off to another strong start, then yes, they've got a great amount of tools. What I do like from NIP, Vi can help Exile get knockups with that stand aside when she throws the Assault and Battery down. It is a displacement, it can get people down. But what I really like is he can lock onto LeBlanc or he can lock onto Lucian and say, we want you dead, we're going to kill you, remove you from the fight, and then just try clean up the rest. We need to see if they can make it work.
Yeah, a lot more knockups. Maybe that's what they realized Exile's ultimate wasn't going to use quite enough, and they this time can single out Hyanan. For now, though, we're going to check out your tweets once more. Now that H2K leads the series by 1 game, will they take it here, or can NIP force a third game? Send us your hashtags at LOL Esports and use the hashtag H2KWin or hashtag NIPWin, and we're going to be checking those out in picks as the game gets started.
So pre-game, 88% in favor of NIP. We had the first Twitter, it switched to 50-50. And after this 1-0, I'm going to predict it's going to be in favor of H2K. Look at that, going out there.
After they 1-0 up. what a brave prediction from Trevor there. So what do we think? Predictions overall with the pick and bans?
A much more active gank pattern from Ko. He needs to interrupt Jarvan. He needs to interrupt Trashy. I think different warding might be key. We've seen the Dragon Pit playing into favor. I think for NIP to be successful, they cannot afford to let Trashy get ahead. So different ward placements and more active ganking or counter ganking definitely has to be on the cards for Ko. Even though Vi is a little weak until 6, he needs to try to stop Trashy.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 underway, live in the Wembley Arena, which is what we all know it as, here in London. H2K, they're 1-0 up. Can they go all the way? Can they do a clean sweep? NIP has the red team defending their title, honestly, because they were the champions back in the spring split. However, despite their 3 to 7-hour epic with Millennium, they did not get into the LCS.
No, they did not, and the same partially passive style of play is still in them today. They fell behind, and they were unable to break that lead that H2K had built up. So flag misses.
No, it landed.
Did it connect?
It landed. He lost 8 points.
Touche. So advantage H2K, they're in the lead. They've got the damage dealt graphs are in their favor.
Oh, Freeze is taunting off the side there, sniffing his cheese, taking a little nibble.
Does Twitch have cheese?
Did you not see him pull the cheese out?
I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
You're not watching the screen, man.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking about this game because the problem for Ko and Vi is a lot of the LCS level junglers are talking about how strong and effective she can be, but the reason we're not seeing her here in Europe all that often is because of her weak pre-6 ganking ability and etc. So there's some split decisions into how weak she is early, but
NIP.
Once she hits 6, it's very, very simple, and crowd's proving me wrong.
Yeah.
Voting in favor of NIP.
Maybe they're doing it on purpose.
Maybe they are.
Prove that guy wrong.
Scumbags.
61%.
Scumbags.
Quickshot doesn't know what he's on about. Let's change this. Let's vote against him. So no ping ward was picked up early on. I don't think I can see any. No, nothing was placed. So ping ward was picked up early by Ku last time around. Hasn't gone for it this time around. So standard starts from everyone, of course. You got the double Doran's rings. Well, single Doran's rings. But Odo Omne and Forbiven up against the Doran's blades in the other lanes.
Also head-to-head lanes. Previously, NIP had started the lane swap on the top side to try and maybe shut down Odo Omne. It didn't work out really because he kept farming. And also, Void will spend most of his time babysitting Mozilla, if you remember. Now that we've got straight-up lanes, I actually think Mozilla's going to have another difficult time against Odo Omne, being melee against the ranged poke of Lulu, and then dealing with those glitter lances is going to be incredibly frustrating. So Mozilla, again, he's on the same champion, but he needs to have a bigger impact. Yeah,
the early pressure definitely going towards H2K. You can see level 2 hit first by Odo Omne in this top lane. Down the bottom lane, it's also going to get hit first. So already NIP on the back foot. Trashy on the red buff, blue buff for Coke. Both going around. No invades by either team, so no advantage this early on. But again, this is the line matchup we saw again. You can see Exile already being aggressed upon by Forbiven.
So we need to see how Trashy handles now the straight-up lanes. Because he had the lane swap previously, he was able to pull resources from elsewhere and go for that gank in the middle lane. Oh, he's caught Freeze.
That's a great hook onto Freeze there. Quick damage dealt out. Voidal tries to block the rest of it, but the damage was done on Freeze.
Yeah, very well done. That's going to give so much pressure in this lane in favor of H2K. Yes, Braum is very strong and is definitely a favorite support in many people's eyes, but he is very weak against ranged poke supports like Thresh. And we've seen in the LCS as well how Thresh plus whatever lanes can punish and bully him around. Only once Voidal gets more levels, and ideally gets closer to 6, does he then become somewhat of an engaged support, you know, in many respects similar to Leona.
Forbiven once again being aggressive on Exile in the mid lane. Exile doing a good trade this time around, swishing his way around, managing to catch on towards him. This time, of course, Ko. I'm expecting Ko to be focusing a little bit more on this mid lane because Forbiven was just allowed to run away with it last game.
Yeah, I think so too. I really like the play there by Exile. He actually timed his poke or his trade just in time to land multiple sweeping strikes from his E and then dash back to safety from that last minion. So it does show he's got a good mechanical ability on this champion. And Ko, with Flash, with that Vault Breaker, it's not the strongest of crowd controls, but doesn't look like he even wants to.
No, he's just in down as a precautionary measure, but they already saw that the ward was placed. Of course, being on, Vi can manage to dash across, just as Trashy can do, of course. Just that single Vault Breaker to dash across in towards those bushes. So maybe trying to get into some sneaky position.
He could go middle.
Saw Trashy last time.
Exile's in trouble.
Exile's very deep on this one. Oh, he's caught up, locked up the stuns there. He's going to have to try and get away from this one. The FLICKR track comes in. It doesn't quite catch, doesn't knock him up, but Exile's still very low from this one. Trying to dash away from the minions. Any more hits will do. You can see one more last hit. There it is. It's going to be Forbiven once again with first blood.
Exile taking them on a walk around. Unfortunately, with Flash not getting him far away. AOD continues to punish Freeze and Voidal. That's an Ignite.
That's an Ignite used. Voidal with Unbreakable, stopping the majority of the damage there, but Freeze once again taken very low on health.
Yeah, and he's behind on CS. Hjarnan and AOD just continuing to punish this lane out. Relic Shield starts for both AOD and Voidal, and it's all about H2K again. The first aggressive play that Exile made in that middle lane, and he gets punished for it. Trashy just happens to be going past, and little unfortunate, but very well played by H2K. They responded well.
Trashy coming across to defend out this mid lane. That bottom lane duo is working very well. Hjarnan and AOD very much on the same page. You know, we were questioning AOD at the start to see whether he's going to be as effective alongside Hjarnan on this big stage, where it doesn't seem to be affecting him so far. This top lane though, Ko coming in, and he's going to get around the backside of Odo Omne. Odo Omne has used that speed already to try and get away. Good flash away from that Vault Break.
Successful gank from Ko. He's on level 5, so he's getting close to having that Assault and Battery unlocked. And once he has that, he needs to rinse and repeat that gank. He needs to come top lane, shut down Odo Omne, alternatively go middle lane, because both Forbiven and Odo Omne are flashless. They're less likely to get away. So good gank by Ko, especially in a pre-6 Vi.
Fiendish Codex picked up early by Odo Omne there, realizing of course there's no magic resist for Mozilla, so hoping he can get some of that damage down early onto him, perhaps with those glitter lances. Forbiven in this mid lane. Dominant performance by him in the last game and looking to try and continue that flow. Already putting a lot of pressure on towards Exile. Exile clearly very confident in the fact that he's got this play. Void'll go very aggressive, has to quickly step back to freeze there. Dangerous play by him. That Unbreakable doesn't stop everything.
No, it really doesn't. I think he's just trying to prevent as much damage on the tower as possible. But he's at, like, you know, killing threat because of all the damage and the poke he's taken. There's no more pots in that bottom lane. And Exile, oh, that's a great chain.
It's a great chain landing on him. Exile just can't get involved in this fight anymore. Trashy hanging on around the side. You can see just in the bush was the jungler trying to cover this one off. Void'll has backed away, so 3
They're going to tower
currently. Will they go for it? They do hook on towards Freeze. They do follow through. AOD, not too sure he wanted to follow that one. And Freeze is going to try and take advantage of this one. Can't lock on towards AOD. Still no ultimates available for any of these players in spot lane.
That was actually very lucky on AOD's part. He followed through the death sentence, but no damage had landed under the turret range. It was targeting Hyanin. So luckily, AOD manages to take a very long ride and walks away. Still not having a turret aggro. H2K are just outplaying Ninjas in Pajamas across the map. Every single one of their roles is pulling ahead, is playing more aggressively. And look at the CS difference between Hyanin and Freeze. That's a very big amount at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, and it's actually equated to a Vampiric Scepter versus a BF Sword. That's a big difference between the two AD carries. Mozilla in this top lane, he's taking pressure. They've both hit their ultimate levels. You can see Odoamne just a little bit ahead right now, keeping the CS advantage up as well. Ko's going to get that red buff. He's going to hit that ultimate level in just a moment, so we'll see whether he starts to make some ganks. He's got to really start focusing on February. I've got a feeling he's going to run away with this game once again.
Yeah, Ko needs to be successful on this first Assault and Battery game. Much like Twisted Fate's first Destiny, if Ko doesn't get somebody ahead, it's a big cooldown. They're going in.
There he is. He's gone towards it. Distortion was already used by Vivins. That's why he's going to get locked down. Very well played there. Flash and Assault and Battery working brilliantly for Ko.
Yeah, very nicely done. It was actually just the Vault Breaker. Didn't even need the Summoner spell. But what I really like is the timing. There was no hesitation. Oh, Void'l's been caught. He's in trouble now.
Void'l trying to go aggressive. Good Vault Breaker there. Sorry, a Vault Breaker. Unbreakable. Blocking out that damage, which immediately leads them towards this dragon. I think these two members could probably take it themselves because that bottom lane's having serious problems.
Yeah, no support from Trashy. He was all the way top lane. And with Forbidden being dead, NIP was a very smart play. What I do like about the gank middle, the moment Forbidden used that distortion from his W, Ko just threw in instantly because he realized the number of options was not there. And of course, Ko no longer, Forbidden doesn't have flash. They've caught Void'l again.
Another hook on towards him, but again, Unbreakable up just in time. Vault Breaker goes down. Freeze needs to get some damage down on this one because Void'l's in all sorts of trouble. That's not going to quite be enough with the Cullen. And this NIP bottom lane is in all sorts of problems. It's a 40 CS gap currently between Freeze and Hyanin.
That's a difference of 2 kills worth of CS at this stage in the game. And Freeze was able to tank up some of those culling shots, which did allow him, oh, very close, did allow him to save Void'l's life, but because Freeze and Void'l have not been able to recall, it means there's all of that pressure on the tower, which will be secured after the CS has been denied, and it opens up the blue buff for deep wards from H2K. Look at the vision they've got. So they're going to make a play on this next spawn in a few minutes' time.
Hyanin making sure that tower takes down every last minion until he clears them out there. So, big differential in this bottom lane. The mid lane is still very much even this time around, of course, with that gank on Forbidden from Ko. Maybe coming again here, charging up this time, yeah, like you say, without the ulti and distortion wasn't used. So Ko not able to pull the trigger, though Forbidden senses something's up. He hasn't spotted Ko, though.
So Assault and Battery still a little while away, 20 seconds on the clock. And if Exile can get his own knock-up and then chain the damage, maybe they can, but this is going to be very risky. They're waiting for Ko's Assault and Battery. Trashy's nowhere near. So it's just a patience game. Ko's either going to make a successful tower dive here, or he's going to have wasted 20 seconds of time.
I think they're waiting for Distortion to be used by Forbidden as well. To maybe try and go from Exile, clearly trying to bait this one out. We can see just in the bottom there, Void'l's going to come up. He's going to spot out that pink ward.
Assault and Battery's available.
See whether Forbidden
they're going to go in.
Goes aggressive. I'm not sure. Oh. Charged it up, didn't go for it. Pink ward cleared.
Maybe Ko's just having a cup of tea.
Well, maybe.
We are in London after all.
Maybe he is. There is no English people.
There's only a few people that enjoy tea, apparently.
There's only a few, yeah. I think the whole of China may argue with her on that one. There's a few people that live there as well. NIP, though, they keep pushing this bottom lane. 96 CS to 51. Big, big differential. Hyanin with a huge advantage. Hasn't quite got that Bloodthirster completed yet, though. H2K reacting, 3 members coming down here. There is a ward there, so Trash is spotted out. He's going to have to dive and commit to this one. There's no tower, remember, for NIP to fall back on. So Trash is well within his rights to dive on this one. Cataclysm still available, hasn't used it yet. Gets knocked up by Voidal. There's the Cataclysm catching him out there. Voidal's going to get locked up there. He's in all sorts of trouble. Hjanen, easy kill for H2K.
Yeah, the NIP do look to set something up in the top lane, but Odoamne is able to get away. Here comes Exile.
Oh, he goes straight on towards him. Face check from Odoamne there. Flashes across to the white on the left-hand side. Exile just dash across towards him. Has got flash available, but not going to follow because they didn't really have vision of Febiven in that mid lane.
H2K are pushing the bottom lane. They've got the numbers advantage. They've got a lot of HP to work with, and a minion wave is just backed up as well. So NIP, they didn't commit resources to attacking the top lane tower. Instead, Mozilla has backed away to defend. Oh, they've got Exile.
Febiven once again going in towards him, gets the chains down. Trashy comes around, flag and drag, forces the flash away from Exile. And NIP on the back foot once again in this match.
And look how smart H2K are. After the presence in the middle lane, they just rotate their members from bottom to mid, and they're going to secure another tower here. Very smart play and positional from the players.
So H2K, big advantage, 2-0 in towers, good win wall there from Exile to block out that death sentence, which would have landed. However, H2K stacking that gold up. With those 2 towers going down, they're going to go off and purchase a bunch of items. Bloodthirster now completed. Morellonomicon, of course, on Odoamne in this top lane as well. Morellonomicon by Febiven in their mid lane as well. Everybody's starting to stack out in time for this next dragon.
So something that I didn't highlight in Picks and Bans that is a threat from Ninjas in Pajamas is all of their damage is physical. You have this tiny bit of magic coming out of Mozilla and Shyvana, yes, but it's not what you would consider a threat. And that's the reason that Febiven and Odoamne have gone Morellonomicon instead of Athenes and Holy Grail. They don't need the additional MR from the Chalice and from the Athenes. So they can just prioritize, get the healing reduction, and work themselves towards maybe some armor-based items in the later stages of the game. Because once H2K hit that point where there are Hourglasses and Randian's Omens on their team, NIP's damage threat gets significantly reduced. And when you've got this all-physical composition, you need to get ahead, and you need to get ahead fairly early on so that you can continue punishing and extend that time frame where H2K need to prioritize armor. NIP are not out yet. They are still within this time frame where they can make a few more plays, but they need to get towers, dragons, and kills very quickly before they run that risk.
Remember, H2K already have that 1-0 lead. Mozilla again getting poked in his top lane. Odoamne continued to just work him down with those basic attacks. He hasn't really used a Glitz Lance. There's a Glitz Lance landing. You can see Mozilla can't really do anything in reply to Odoamne at the moment.
But he's still farming well. Odoamne has put a lot of time into bullying Mozilla away, but Mozilla is still relevant in CS. There was a gank from Ku, don't forget that, which of course would help him out. But again, he's staying relevant. So Glacial Fissure is available from Voidal. He needs to hit targets so that Exile can execute them. But Hjanen and AOD are wisely going up the river, and they're going to find the support of their teammates. I mean, they've completely mitigated all of the threat that Ninjas in Pajamas had from that lane.
Yeah, they were trying to set up that gank, and it is not working out. Blue buff just spawned out there. Pink ward has been found by H2K, so that's going to clear out the vision that NIP had around that dragon pit area. And now with that dragon now spawning, NIP going to have to pick up this blue buff fast.
NIP lost the previous game because of poor engages around the dragon pit. They cannot afford to do the same. They are 3,000 gold down. They have secured their own blue, and there's going to be a big fight.
Oh, they were delaying on that blue buff. It does get taken by Ko, though. Manages to finish it off. They're going to lock on towards AOD. AOD going down. That's going to be 1 kill picked up. You can see it's going to lock on there. Ko going to take it down as well off the side there. But the Rat's got himself a double kill. Locking on towards Hjanen. Hjanen in all sorts of trouble. Mozilla's going to keep on chasing towards him. Has the burnouts run out. He can't quite close the distance. Doesn't matter. Locks him back down. And off the side there. Febiven's going to get caught out. The shield just enough from Odoamne. They're going to have to try and find him. Freeze is stealthing up. He's going to try and ambush on towards him. He doesn't want to catch on towards Odoamne. Odoamne, no mana, of course, for Freeze. Tries to turn it back around. Has he got the stun? Locks him up, but he hasn't done the damage. Has to flash away from it. Now Odoamne, he's going to get locked out again. They catch on towards him. Can it be enough? Mozilla comes in. Quick stand aside, gets in towards there. Voidal chasing on towards Febiven. Febiven distorts away. And I think they're safe now. And this fight's gone on long enough that everybody has respawned.
It ended up being a 3-for-2, and NIP managed to come away from that one mostly okay. If it wasn't for Voidal saving Freeze with a great concussive blows passive, he would have gone down. But very importantly, look at how quickly XL throws his ultimate down. He only caught AoD. I mean, Forbidden was caught out by Ko. Had that last breath been used a second or two later, the fight could have been a lot more convincing. Featherman is able to get a summoner heal, he gets a whole spell reel off. And I do think NIP did a good job at focusing Yon and Down out early. But unfortunately, that last breath needed to have been more important. Dragon was not secured, so we're going to see this fight again. Look at the ultimate counters. There's a lot that are not available.
Seconds out, round 2. NIP this time around going to try and focus on H2K. Ultimates are not available. Rat-a-tat-tat is down, and that's going to be H2K securing this one. Dragon Descent, Mozilla pounces across, but misses the entire team. Mozilla's going to get dropped down on the side. He's in all sorts of trouble. Ko's going to go low as well. Trash is going to get focused down. That's another kill picked up by Freeze, but NIP are in all sorts of trouble. Void will get singled out as well. That's a double. That's a triple for Odawamne in the top lane. Fantastic stuff. And this time, NIP with no ultimates available should not have engaged.
NIP had nothing to fight for. Dragon had been secured by H2K Gaming. NIP seen it going down. They were trying to pick up some stragglers on the sideline. And after Mozilla committed to the fight, the rest of the team were like, oh, hang on a minute. We don't have the tools. Look at this. Mozilla's coming in fairly late from the top half. Dragon is secured, and then they start a fight. They didn't have the tools available. Not only do NIP lose the Dragon, they lose 3 kills, and they've lost a mid in a turret because of that play. I can't understand the decision making. That was very well played by H2K. They had the positional advantage. They punished NIP for engaging, and they've just accelerated further ahead.
And this is exactly like game 1. NIP making mistakes, making miscalculations, miscalls at the Dragon, and H2K reacting very well to this. And now the fact there's a 4-0 Lulu, Rabadon's death cap won't be too far away for him. Rabadon's death cap, once that gets picked up by Forbidden, we know what it's going to be like. H2K closing in, and NIP, they need to realize just how far they fell behind after those 2 fights.
Yeah, the problem for NIP is exactly the same as the previous game, that they need to pick a fight. Because their composition is just all in, even more so now with Vi. The only tools Ninjas in Pajamas have to play with is big team fights. H2K don't necessarily have a big split pushing champion on their side. Lulu can do that okay, but it's not something you think of primarily when you see a top lane Lulu. So H2K can play this one patient, wait for another objective to fight over, and force NIP's hand. If they win the team fight, hey, they get more inner turrets.
So Odawamne in this top lane, he's got 2 on him. Mozilla, of course, that Dragon Descent in the last fight completely missing off the side. Ko not going to focus on this one because H2K, they've got 4 members in this mid lane. NIP need to react to this. They could push straight through.
And, you know, after all the hype we were talking about Ko, and after all the previous games where Ko's performed, at least previously, he had little to no impact in the bigger picture, and now his Vi has taken so long to get going. This is not what we associate with this jungler. This is not what we're used to seeing. So anyways, blue buff there looked like H2K were moving themselves in. They've got a lot of numbers in the bottom half of the map. NIP will secure themselves an uncontested tower, but it looks like H2K are trying to set something up. They're trying to make plays. And again, they've got very deep vision. The minimap has always been H2K vision dominated.
Freeze thought about the ambush there for Bivin. As soon as he used that distortion, he made his move towards him, but really with, as you mentioned, lack of vision, no knowledge about where everybody in H2K is. So, everybody resetting, everybody stacking out those items. Death cap almost complete by Forbidden. That's the niche large rod just popping into vision. Rabadon's death cap has been picked up by Odawamne in this top lane, which Mozilla still yet to complete. He's got that spectral cowl on there, yet to complete an item though. Mercury Tread's also picked up, but again, falling behind in obviously not only kills, but CS.
So that is one thing that does play into NIP's favor, is if Mozilla can start split pushing and pull some threat from Jarvan, from Lulu, it will open up other areas of the map. But in order to make that work, NIP has to be on the same level of communication. Mozilla needs to say, hey, I'm going to try and draw aggro. I'm trying to pull Odawamne or Fibivin or Trashy my direction. And when they do, sneak a tower, grab a dragon, try flank somebody. It isn't the case right now because Mozilla is still working his way towards this Blade of the Ruined King. He's still working his way up in items. But it is a tool they have available to them. And it just seems as though NIP are waiting for H2K to make mistakes, and H2K simply aren't doing them.
And let's talk about H2K, because Forbidden, when DreamHack was going on, said, you know, the best challenger team is not there to compete with NIP. They called themselves out and said, we would have won DreamHack if we'd have gone there. Instead, they did not. This time around, though, They are looking like a shoe-in for a 2-0. They have a solid lead in this game. And NIP are trying to set up for something here. H2K trying to bait them out, but NIP not going to fall for it just yet. It's a ward fight in the bush.
Yeah, the statement definitely paying dividends thus far. They've had very clear strategic moves from the opening minutes of every game. The previous match, it was very clear. We want to shut down Exile. Oh, Freeze is going to die. It's a rat trap.
It's a rat trap. It's going to come out of ambush, but wasn't quite enough to draw him out there.
It hasn't sprung yet. The rat trap has been enabled.
I'm just going to say that's pretty cheesy.
Not bad, not bad. We'll have to see.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I know.
We'll have to see how NIP pull themselves back into this game, because as it stands, they simply haven't made the right decisions. You know, previous game and this game, their team fight selection has been mediocre at best, and then they haven't executed when they have picked those team fights. So NIP, you can definitely feel they're running scared. And it's up to H2K, it's up to them to break H2K's lead.
Somebody needs to deal with Odoamne. The rest of H2K are coming around, and NIP are way too slow to react to this one. This is going to be a tower going down.
Yeah, and you know, Lulu, not somebody you traditionally call a split pusher. Odoamne's done it. He's 4-0. He's now pulled ahead of CS. He's got a good item lead. And it looks like NIP want to fight. Look at Ko, he's going to come from the sidelines. A multi-man knockup has to happen in order for NIP to win, and actually they backed off. Yeah, they don't even want the fight.
They got no vision, that's the problem. They could not go in there. Dragon's going to be up in 5 seconds time, and NIP once again, absolutely no vision whatsoever of this river. H2K could pull the trigger. You can see NIP going to try and create and force some pressure on this mid lane turret. H2K coming across the side in correct force, and Ko is going to have to get away. It's going to go on towards Odoamne. You saw the damage on towards Freezer. Freezer's already running. The NIP do not want this fight. Freezer's already backing away. He's calling for everybody to back off, and they do eventually, but H2K can see clearly much stronger now in this game.
Yeah, completely bullying them away. Because Freeze was dropped to 50% HP, NIP were not willing to risk a team fight where he could get just assassinated. Ironically, you could put an argument forward that with H2K grouping, NIP had a great opportunity for a good combo of ultimates. Doesn't work out, so Dragon secured by H2K, and NIP just run away, tails between their legs. They're not interested in anything H2K wants from them.
Yeah, NIP, they thought about forcing that mid lane. It was only AOD that was holding off, and again, it's still 5-1 in turrets now. What is Ko waiting for? Is it going to be the AD carry? I'm not sure he can take Hyanan, you know.
I don't think that he can. He's got some armor, but he's going to try. He does have the support of both Exile and Freeze. He's going to time it. Hyanan's going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Good Vault Breaker knocks him off. Assault Battery follows. Exile comes pounding in, and Hyanan goes down.
So they've got 1 kill. What does it mean? Unless NIP can convert this into a tower, it's not worth a whole lot. Dragon was secured by H2K. NIP are still 5k gold down. And look, it's a start. It's a start. They've got pick champions.
Yeah, they've drawn him away from the bottom lane, and that's enough for Mozilla to get in there with a big minion wave. He may be able to take this tower down. He's got plenty of time to do the damage onto this one. I don't think Odoamne can get close enough. He could teleport in, but I don't think he's going to fancy it. That tower's gone.
Yeah, it does look to be the case. So Mozilla is going to secure that tower. It is the split-pushing Shyvana that we've talked about. If he decides to continue keeping Odoamne's attention, the rest of the team could look to set up another pick. But it actually came the other direction. It was NIP making a pick and then allowing Mozilla to split push. And I think NIP need to keep doing that. They need to get better wards in the map, and they need to just get more of those solo kills, because it's quite apparent that H2K simply have better team fighting ability this series.
H2K continue to keep full vision. If you just look at the map, just see there's next to no wards placed by NIP right now. They need to get some sort of vision down there. Pink ward placed by Voidal, but look at that. It's just all darkness by NIP. They have no clue what is going on, no information. No, and
it also explains why they're running so scared. H2K, again, with a heavy 4-5-man invade. That's the 3rd time this game that H2K have grouped up as 4-5 and invaded NIP's jungle for vision. And they've even got themselves a Scrying Orb to, once again, if they want to go for those heavy invades, to make sure they've got the information to work with. It's very intelligent play from H2K Gaming, and you just have to give them credit. I mean, they've pulled themselves up again, you know, 4,000 gold lead. They're trying to break this inner line of turrets, and we'll see how they siege.
Oh, Voidal just getting away from that one. Grateful coming up just at the right time to stop those chains coming on. Oh, they've caught out Freezes in that top lane. He's actually evacuating. They may try and run him down here. You can see they're splitting off. There's 2 going left, 2 going right. They're not going to quite close the gap on him, though. Ko is there. The rest of NIP had reacted. it was a dangerous fight to take.
So Freeze does have his red buff. It will help him somewhat in these opening fights. Still unkilled this game. 3-0-1-1. They're going in!
They're going in, but AOD was caught out. Not too sure that's the one that Exile wanted to focus on. Exile himself is in all sorts of trouble. He's going to go down. Ko has to flash out of this one as well. Oduwamne does take down Exile. Now you can see Mozilla taking all the damage. We can see Febiven flashing in towards it. The Ignite's not quite enough to take him down there. It was a 1-for-1 big trade, but that's going to be the tower for H2K.
It's not over yet. Yana's chasing Voidal.
Unbreakable is not going to be enough to stop all the damage from Yana. He does just about hold out. There's the tower going down. Objective control once again for H2K. They're going to back out, but another tower goes their way.
We have to ask NIP, what is the strategy? That was a last breath again on only the support, while Lulu was still present. You always knew Wild Growth was coming down. You always knew that was going to be used. I'm not quite sure what NIP were thinking. I think very good play from H2K. They managed to respond effectively. They get the tower down. Trading a jungler for a mid laner is a trade any day that these teams will take. And H2K, again, just extend that lead further. They extended map presence. They're maintaining vision control. And itemization-wise, Deathcap, Morella, Nomicon, the makings of a Void Staff from Febiven versus a Pickaxe, Cloak of Agility, and a Static Shift. Exile doesn't even have a large amount of attack damage built up. He's relying purely on that critical hit chance.
To try and land the combo, but again, if you can't kill the support with your ultimate, then you are not in a good situation for the mid laner. Kjarnan at the moment looking to try and catch on towards them. And NIP again in a dangerous position.
Well, we'll see if the death sentence can land. That's a very good slow from Voidal, as well as Unbreakable, and he needs to get his ultimate down.
He's going to get caught out. Flag and Drag, that's going to go in there. He tries to be the sacrificial lamb, but the rest of the team get locked up by that Dragon Strike jumping in towards there. Ko trying to cause some damage on towards it. Kjarnan caught out there. Oduwamne being focused on the backside. The Oduwamne will go down. Can Freeze get taken out? Yes, he will. He'll go down. Febiven running away from this one. It's a good fight for NIP so far. They're going to lock on to Trashy. Trashy goes down. Febiven caught out a little too close. Distorts away. And this time around, it's a 3-for-2, a 2 for NIP.
So that is a very important trade for the Ninjas in Pajamas because they needed to get the gold off of their opponents. Yes, 3-for-2 trade means H2K are not super far behind in gold, but NIP needed more. They need to continue picking up these kills in these trades. And that was actually a turnaround where Voidal was caught and he didn't have access to his Glacial Fissure. Had he been able to put that slowdown in that channel, it would have gone much better. And Freeze, his positioning was pretty good, but then he had to come in deeper to continue being relevant. And he's about to get turned and focused on by both AOD and Trashy. So pretty good fight overall for NIP. But if they had ultimates, they could have been better.
Honestly, if it wasn't for that death sentence from Trashy there, from AOD there, I think that could have been an ace. I think they may well have wiped out H2K. But death sentence landed, took him down. And just like the last game, NIP do manage to win themselves out a team fight. Can they do anything with it? Last time they just went headlong into H2K, got caught out. Voidal once again burst down, half his hit points gone down. Oduwamne locks on that Unbreakable, just about saving his life. Dragon is now up, and he's going to have to go back and top off that health.
I would say that definitely saved his life, and I would also say NIP have banned Morgana in both of the games they've played, which is AOD's sort of primary support that we've seen in the competitive scene. Oh, they're going for Kjarnan.
They're locked in Kjarnan, they're going to focus him down, but again, Wild Growth is enough to save the day. Now he's off the side, untouched. Exile getting focused down. That's going to get clocked off. It's AOD with a kill. Now they're going to choose on towards it. Forbidden Distortion was used. He can't chase him down. NIP trying to engage, catching out the AD carry, but they just don't have enough damage.
They can't. The Wild Growth from Lulu with that death cap is so massive. H2K Gaming, they know they've got a numbers advantage. They've started Baron. Now Ko does have Assault and Battery. He didn't use it in that previous fight, and he does have Smite. This is going to be very risky.
Ko getting caught out. Oh, Forbidden's going to lock him down. He's going to get caught out. Oduwamne on him as well. 3 members locking down. AOD gets himself a second kill. And that's going to be the Baron for H2K. Once again, NIP caught out again.
Floundering. Ninjas in Pajamas are simply floundering. H2K are working as a unit, Ninjas are not. And, you know, you do have to call it out that AOD on Thresh has been very impactful this matchup. I think his death sentences have been good. And remember, NIP, as I was saying before, they banned Morgana. And AOD's just like, well, that's fine. I'll just switch to Thresh, you know? You've got a player at this level, and he's doing well. But the rest of the team, following Trashy's lead, supported by Febiven, and this time it's a much more team effort from everyone, but very, very well played, and they continue to grow this lead.
Yeah, like you say, from the pick and bans, it seems a clear goal from H2K. They knew exactly what they wanted to play. They played The same composition both times around, just switching Jax out for Lulu, and it's worked brilliantly. Odoamne, honestly, in this series, has been the man to watch. 5-1-4 on Lulu, fantastic stats on Jax. He was at, what, 80 CS, I think, in the lead over Mozilla in the last matchup. Mozilla himself, 1-0-6, not doing too bad on Shyvana. Much better performance this time around. But the rest of his team, they're in all sorts of trouble. Freeze has got going. He's got 5-1-3. He's got the kills. They just need to get the positioning right, and they need to buy him a little bit of free time and maybe protect the rat rather than diving in headlessly.
So something that we haven't seen H2K do in either of the games is a legitimate siege. We haven't seen them set themselves up in a tower situation where they're sort of facing off 5v5. And it ends up working quite nicely, because if they do put themselves in that siege, they do run the risk of getting caught out by those Yasuo Braum combo. This is the first time they're going to be trying. Look at the damage on Freeze.
That's going to be Freeze having to back off. That's going to be an inhibitor turret going down. H2K all over this one. Meanwhile, you can see Mozilla trying his best to split push. He's going to teleport in. Where's he going to go, though? He has to go back to the base at the side there. Ko off the side. He's going to get spotted out. What's he going to do? He's going to have to run away from this one. He can't get involved. And that was a simple inhibitor taken by H2K.
Positional mistake from Ninjas in Pajamas, punished perfectly by H2K. With super minions now pushing up the middle lane, they look to siege both the top and the bottom. There are minions pushing in their favor, so now they're going to have the map working for them as well. And I really like the decisiveness from H2K. They have not hesitated. The moment somebody's been presented, they have just gone all in. And they push Freeze away, got that objective. Now, please don't jump on AOD. If NIP want to win this fight, they need to not focus Thresh down.
Oh, but I think they know they're in there. They're going to throw the Death Sensor straight out, quickly blocked out. This time Exiles get caught out as well. He's going to get locked up and taken down in seconds. The rest of the team try and jump on Trashy for some god-awful reason. He's just going to walk away from that one, happy to take it all up. Voidal taking very low, Mozilla taking low. Freeze gets picked off at the side there. Ko's going to be the last man standing. He goes down. A very easy 8 for H2K. They're going to run straight in the mid lane. They're going to take down the Nexus turrets. Odoamne can tank it out. And H2K will take this Challenger Series final very easily, 2-0.
2-0 uncontested. Last couple of hits on the Nexus turrets before they go down. AOD landing the death sentence through the needle, catching Freeze. A well-deserved victory.
Dominant performance there from H2K, honestly. Never in doubt, I don't think, either of those two games, whether H2K would come out on top. 17-10 in that last game. 42 kills in the first match, 27 in this one, but it was all about control, and NIP just a last-ditch effort in the end there, trying to catch out, trying to do a gank, but H2K knew they were there.
You have to question the decision-making. You have to question why the focus on AOD so many times. Did we see the potential for good engages? And Exile maybe just a little too trigger-happy on that last breath, so, you know, all props to H2K. They had a solid game plan. Early game was strong, mid game was strong, the team fights were strong, and completely deserving of the 2-0 victory.
So that means H2K are the Challenger Series 1 champions. Gives them 9 points, I believe.
Yeah.
Some at the top of the table, of course. It's quite important seeding because they're going to go in towards that Challenger playoffs after the summer concludes, after Challenger Series 2 concludes as well. That's going to be coming up. Starting off, I believe it started off last night, I think. I may be wrong.
Maybe the online qualifiers.
Or next week, yeah.
The online qualifiers could be, because of course they do get
no rest for the teams, that's for sure.
No, you get them from the Challenger ladder, but I think H2K, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic performance. NIP were, of course, playing with a substitute, so you can't discount that. And Freeze was saying earlier that, you know, Alex was their shot caller. But I don't think it would have made a difference because H2K disrupted NIP's game plan from the get-go. Such strong ganks on that Jarvan from Trashy. We talked it up, and he delivered.
Yeah, honestly, it was the mid lane and the bot lane where the game was won. It was dominant performances. Both times, LeBlanc for, I'll tell you his name in a moment. Febiven.
Yeah.
Dominant.
Yeah, it really was. Really good performance. He found the right targets, got the right damage, and I just think overall, H2K's decision-making and ability to deliver is what ended up helping them win that game. And it was very smart play, it was calculated, and it was very clear that they had thought a lot about this game. Maybe missing DreamHack to plan for the match was smart. Maybe watching NIP play and breaking down their movements and decisions allowed them to find that mid lane gank, you know, from game one. If you know they're level 1 wards, hey, pick Jackson Jarvan and we'll avoid them.
And let's talk about Trashy again. You talked about the Jarvan. 1-4-16 this time around. Fantastic performances, both games on the Jarvan, letting the trio of junglers go across. Fantastic, fantastic performance by H2K overall. For now, we're going to send it over to Shox, who is on stage with the victorious Verbiven and Hjarnan from H2K Gaming. Take it away, Shox.
Thank you very much, D-Man. First off, of course, congratulations to you guys, Hjarnan and Verbiven, closing out the victory here with H2K Gaming. Hjarnan, talk me through the series from your guys' perspective, because very convincing win coming in here versus NIP.
Well,
it's fine, you can help it out, but I'll give him the mic.
well, we didn't practice that much actually, but as you see, like we just put it out and we play good. So yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, absolutely, very good performance. Verbiven, talk me through how you guys went into the game. We saw you being very confident on Twitter before, and here playing LeBlanc 2 times. Very, very aggressive build, just going in there. Is that the way you want to play versus NIP? Is that the way to beat them?
Yeah, we kind of expected the Yasuo pick all the time because this is the best champion. And I played this matchup a lot and I know exactly what to do. So, and I felt safe with my build, so, because LeBlanc is really mobile.
And tell me also a little bit about how the synergy was with the rest of the team, because obviously you guys with 2 members haven't been playing together for so long yet.
The synergy between me and the jungler isn't the best yet because he's still doing exams and school. So yeah, we have a lot of time still, so it's fine.
A lot of stuff to work on as well. And what about you coming in here playing with AOD and then playing against someone who used to play with Voidal?
Well, it felt good, but me and AOD haven't played that much either because I also got exams. So, and we both work out as well, so it's like bad timing all the time, and we can never like duo queue and anything. So we haven't played that much together, but he's done with the exams now, so we can start playing together.
Well, if that is with not a lot of training, you guys already look very good, I must say. Final question, maybe Verbiven, looking ahead to the next Challenger Series, and of course that goal of getting the LCS, where do you think you're at right now with your team? What do you have to do?
I think if everyone is done with school and exams, I think we're going to be #1 team in Challenger scene, and we will definitely get into LCS.
All right, well, a great start here. Congratulations once again, Verbiven and Hjarnan. Now we're going to go over to Joe and the Fee Show to break down the game.
I showed the first question.
For H2K, sewing it up in 2 games. Let's go all the way back to the beginning again, because we talked about team comps. Not a lot changed actually for game 2.
Yeah, very few picks actually were different here. This time NIP went for the Vi pick instead of Elise, so they wanted more knockups for the Yasuo this time around. Really trying to set Exile up here and go straight for the team fights. However, once again, they have a comp which can fall behind. You talked about it after last game. You have no wave clear on the side of NIP here. You have Twitch, you have Yasuo. I mean, it's very risky wave clear, at least if you want to do something. So once you fall behind, it was easy for H2K to just take control of the whole thing.
We saw in game #1 that they elected for that lane swap. There was no lane swap this time around, and specifically that bottom lane, there was a huge CS disparity.
Right, so we had the Twitch and Braum once again for NIP, and it's not a good lane in the early stages unless you can surprise people at level 1, but it's very hard to do here in competitive play, of course, because people expect it to happen. So it's a bit of a risky lane. They didn't lane swap. Even Shyvana would have been a lot better than Lulu in a lane swap because Shyvana can jungle so well and clear pretty much the Wraith camp or the Golems by herself, where Lulu is forced to stay with her jungler. So in that case, you know, we have to say NIP should have lane swapped.
So let's move it on a little bit further then towards the team fights. We've actually got a replay of the one just after 17 minutes around the Dragon. Talk us through that.
Yeah, so we talked about last game how it's an issue for NIP if they have the wrong engages on this fight here, and they always pick the wrong fights. This fight here is the exact same thing. Look here, first of all, at the cooldowns. Ku doesn't have his Vi ultimate at this point here. Voidal, no ultimate, which means Mozilla is the only knockup for Exile here to start the whole thing. And if we just roll the clip, we actually see Mozilla coming in, flanking around, but he then misses his jump, so he doesn't have anyone. It's a good jump away by Hjarnan, of course. It means Exile, this time around, doesn't have any knockups, he can't do anything. Once again, he's stuck without doing anything in these team fights, especially again, 4v5 in the favor of H2K, and therefore they win the fight. And it's just been the issue for NIP. They don't know when to engage, and once they actually do go in, it's always going in favor of H2K because they don't have all the ultis or they're in a wrong position.
And that's what we thought, you know, this is a best of 3. One thing that you have kind of up your sleeve is to, after the game 1 where you've not played so well, where your team fights have not gone so well for you, you have that time to talk about it, to maybe, you know, start with a blank canvas here, but just didn't work out that way for Ninjas in Pajamas. We actually have another team fight in the top lane, which, again, targeting questionable as they go in for the support.
It's pretty much the same deal, except here NIP actually has all the ultis ready. If you just pull the replay up on the screen, everyone can follow, of course, what we're talking about here. And the weird thing for me is, you need to notice the fact that AOD, the support here from H2K, is standing right next to Odo Amne, who's the top laner. Normally you would target the top laner, especially because Lulu here didn't build Hourglass. So H2K, they're very manly here. They don't need any Hourglasses. So Febiven, doesn't matter. Lulu in the top lane, don't even care. Even though you're against Vi, you're against Twitch, you're against the Yasuo, so many things that can kill you here. But let's just roll the replay. Notice how NIP have the chance to go for Lulu. Again, no Hourglass, yet they picked the support. I have no idea why. It simply means Wildgrowth on the support, he's fine. AOD is like 50% HP not backing out. And NIP just invested everything on trying to kill him. And it's easy for H2K to turn it around. Mozilla almost goes down in the end. Survives though. Still, it's a tower for H2K. And it was the trap from NIP which didn't work because they chose the support.
And you have to say, H2K looking very, very good moving forward. For Ninjas in Pajamas, I want to touch quickly on Mozilla, obviously standing in for Alex Ich here. He had a couple of ultimates where if they would have landed, maybe they would have changed things around, but overall, his performance in lane and towards the mid-game, it wasn't really what you'd say is a weak link.
No, I mean, game 1, he fell behind in CS, but also the lane swap wasn't too good for him there, so he actually fell a bit further behind than he should have. This game around, he kept up in farm against the Lulu. That's very well played. He just didn't really have much of an impact, and it's very hard. I mean, he recently just got into the team here, and obviously he needs more time to perform well.
Well, that does it, guys, for the EU Challenger Series Summer 1 Finals. Congratulations once again to H2 Gaming for taking a 2-0 win over Ninjas in Pajamas. And, of course, thanks to our friends over at Coca-Cola as well. Right now, though, we have to take a short break. But when we return, the European LCS will kick off here at Wembley. And it's going to be Alliance taking on SK Gaming for that top-of-the-table battle. Don't go anywhere.
Hello guys, it's not one yet, so please try hard.
He does get taken by Kodo, manages to finish it off. They're going to lock on towards AOD. AOD going down. That's going to be 1 kill picked up. You can see it's going to lock on there. Kogo taken down as well off the side there. Going in, but AOD was caught out. Not too sure that's the one that Exile wanted to focus on. Exile himself is in all sorts of trouble. He's going to go down. Ko has to flash out of this one as well. He's just going to walk away from that one. Happy to take it all up. Boyle taking very low. Mozilla taking low. Breeze gets picked off on the side there. Ko's going to be the last man standing.